Hello, everybody. This is Bob Jackson from Walt Disney World's Port Orleans Riverside Resort, giving a big shout out to all his friends listening to the WDW Today podcast. I perform Wednesday through Saturday, and the show starts at 8:30 there at Port Orleans Riverside. Come on out. We'll be saving you a seat.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, November 2nd, 2009, and this is episode 638 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Len, if someone ever asks you if you are God, say yes.
I thought of the first thing that came to my mind. It was
something from my childhood.
So never ever give me hope. True story. I don't know if you've seen Zombieland yet, but they actually show part of Ghostbusters in Zombieland, and I think I've said it on the previous show. Zombieland is a funny movie. If it's still in your theaters, go out and see it. It's hysterical.
Is it scary or is it funny?
It's a combination of both. It's campy. It's camp. Yeah, exactly. Have you seen it?
No, not yet.
I want to see it, but I'm afraid it's a scary movie.
No, it's not. That's seriously.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm just saying. Also joins on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And Mike, I've told many times on the show, my favorite story of the show is that you being recognized at one of the bars at Walt Disney World for them knowing your drinks.
Yes.
But I was just recognized today at Waffle House. Should I be scared?
Were you real?
Well, since the clientele at Waffle House seems to differ from the clientele at the Bellevue room, yeah, I would
maybe.
I would be a little frightened. Yes.
Okay, got to tone it down a little bit, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Awesome.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Man, I don't think there are any hydrolators or dinosaurs in Zombieland. But anyways. Oh, I thought that was the quote.
I don't know where that quote is from.
You can. I did mention. Here's one for the ages. Are you ready? For every drop of water, every human being, all creatures, and the web of life, nothing in the universe exists alone.
Circle of Life.
Close.
Something in the land. I'll go with Rafiki's Planet Watch.
Close. It was called, at the time, it was called Symbiosis.
Oh, wow. I had that once, but a shot cleared it up.
The rash go away?
Exactly.
And also joining us on today's show is the fabulous Annette Owens, the manager of customer relations and group services for MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
So on today's show, we're going to hopefully answer some questions about annual passes because, certainly a lot of people always ask us questions about, is it worth it? Sometimes it's not very clear answer, and certainly we wanted to help some of our listeners out with determining if an annual pass is the right decision for them. So let's start out with Scott from Tampa, who writes, I've been listening for about a year now, and in your responses to questions about getting or not getting an annual pass, your analysis and response always references the discounts that, quote, could be gotten on your room stay. Being a Floridian, we don't usually plan too far out in advance, but it seems my experience that annual pass discounts on rooms are hard to come by. Maybe not true with more advanced planning. So my question is, why isn't the analysis of getting an annual pass more based on the number of intended visits to the park, such that the person is going to visit enough days that just purely based on the price of admission getting an annual pass is the cheaper alternative? Then the other perks that come in with an annual pass, for example, room discounts, shop and food discounts, limited as they may be, and Tables of Wonderland card are just added benefits and not a factor in determining if you should get an annual pass or not.
Well, one of the things is that we've always talked about what the break-even point is of the annual pass, and I think it would be short-sighted to just look at that as a reason for getting an annual pass, because many people may not have the opportunity to visit a park more than 8 or 9 days during a course of 12 months. So I think that at this point, with the way that the parking has gone up in price, with the way that a lot of things have gone up in price, including meals, I think that it's important to look at more than just the fact that going so many days is the break-even point. I think it's maybe 11 or 12, and I think it's 11 right now. From what I've heard from a cast member, they think it's 11 now. But I think that there are so many things you have to take in consideration. The economical climate has changed, so I think you need to really take a look at the whole package. And I think that you can very well justify an annual pass without having to go 8, 9, or 11 days.
I totally agree with you there, Mike. I mean, I think what we're talking about here is somewhat, a lot of times when we're talking about bringing in these perks and how they factor into breaking even, quote unquote, I think that it has to do with also the fact that you have to, the people that we're really talking about here are the people that are just on that brink. And when you factor in those other discounts there, that can really put someone over the top in terms of making it a worthwhile purchase or not.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So definitely the parking discount, so parking is now $14 a day, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're staying off-site, an annual pass is something you want to consider if you're staying a week or more, because at $14 a day, that's $100 right there.
Yeah.
So even as low as 7 days, $100 starts to come in play. Here's the one thing though, and dining is also important, right? 10, 20% off, depending on where you're going for certain kinds of meals. Again, adds a few bucks to the coffers.
Right.
The thing that hasn't been as useful lately is when you're staying at a Disney resort, the incremental savings of an annual pass hasn't been as good. So with all the discounts Disney's doing right now, the annual pass holders are only getting about $10 more a night at the moderate and deluxe resorts versus the standard discounts that Disney's already throwing out there. So, and not that $10 isn't a lot over a week; it's another $70. But that's less than the discount you get if you're staying off-site and you get free parking.
Right. Well, look at the discounts Disney's been offering in as an alternative. Really, is they've been offering free dining and buy 4 get 3 free. Those are all packaged around you paying rack rates and getting tickets with it also. So they've definitely, you're right, Len. The discounts that Disney's been offering lately have not been really haven't taken annual pass into consideration much at all.
Right. So the discounts Disney's offering are essentially they're offering annual pass holder rates to non-annual pass holders. I mean, give or take, right? Give or take the $10. But here's the interesting thing, though. So if you're staying a week off-site, getting an annual pass saves you $14 a day. If you're staying a week on-site, an annual pass saves you $4 less per day, or $10. Huh. Does that make any sense?
You bring up a good point yet again, Len.
So anyway, Matt, I was saying one of the big advantages of an annual pass right now is that you can get them for 15 months instead of 12. It's a special deal that Disney's doing.
Right. And
that allows you to go twice during summer vacation or twice during spring break or twice during Christmas break, even if the dates move around a little bit.
Yeah, it's a tremendous value for someone who's looking to get an annual pass or even renew theirs. So
yeah, so I think so. I think that's fabulous. Yeah.
Let's move on to the next question. It's from Michael Ruth of Schenectady, New York.
Oh my goodness.
That's a good question, I think, for Newell or Annette. They may know the answer to this one. In 2012, I'm planning a 3-week trip to the world to experience Universal's Harry Potter, since it should be fully completed by then, one hopes. If I purchase a DVC discounted annual pass voucher, do they have an expiration date?
A voucher.
A voucher.
So if you guys use your Disney Vacation Club discount on your annual passes, can you buy one today with the knowing that, so you can lock in the price and then, but not activate it until...
I don't know for sure, though.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I usually just buy it right out. I don't even...
I was under the impression that regular annual, like if I bought my annual pass voucher, it's, indefinite, so to speak, in terms of the, I could buy it today.
Dude, who is breathing? My God, you sound like the steam setting on my iron. What is that? What the hell are you doing?
Next email is from Timothy Castor, who writes, I just got back from the world, and I'm now suffering PDD, post-Disney depression. So I'm starting to think about my next trip, which I hope will be very soon. I know it's not the best time of year to go in the summertime, but my birthday happens to fall during that, so I'm hoping that it'll work out. But anyway, here's my situation. I got an annual pass on my last trip, knowing that I'd be going at least one more time within the year. And I realized that to get free dining, you have to book a package which includes at least a one-day park ticket if I were to take that offer when it comes out next time. Obviously, with an annual pass, I don't need that ticket. So is there any reason why I couldn't lend my key to the world to a friend who lives in the area, allowing him to enter the park for the world for one day while I use my annual pass?
Yeah, you could do it.
Absolutely.
Sure. They'd have to use it for, the entire time because their fingerprint or their finger biometric is going to be linked to the ticket, but so what?
Yeah, no, I think he's just going to get it for one day, and, you could obviously also use that ticket just for your own knowledge towards your annual pass renewal later on. But if you want to bring your friend and have him or her join you and have some fun for one day, why not? Marty Doherty of Chicago wants to know, I'm an annual pass holder, first time, and I got this partly for the discounts at the Disney resorts. I've tried on several occasions to make reservations as soon as rates come out through MountSavers.com, which I found in the unofficial guide.
Yay.
I travel solo and always book when crowds are expected to be 4 or 5s from the unofficial guide. My question is this. Do they set aside like 3 rooms at each deluxe resort and that's it? I'm trying to book a trip for Friday, December 4th, and there are no deluxe resorts available using the AP discount, but there are plenty available using rack rates. Is it me, or is this kind of tacky way to treat annual pass holders?
Go ahead. It's not great.
I mean, is this typical that is he just running into a bad weekend, or is it typical that there aren't that many rooms available with the discounts generally?
There are a limited number of rooms, but at the deluxe resorts, depends on the resort. It should be, like you should always be able to get something at the Yacht and Beach Club, because those are some of the less popular deluxe resorts. You should also always be able to get something at Old Key West and Saratoga Springs.
Yeah. Well, he adds this.
However, it could be a bad weekend because it is Pop Warner weekend, and it's hard to find just about anything from the 4th until about the 15th of December right now. So
there's not even anything on Cast Portal for a cast member discount. You can't get anything. Marty adds, though, I'm usually not this skeptical, but do they have annual pass holder room discounts just for marketing purposes without actually having the rooms, or is this legit offering? Again, I'm going at a very low time of year. I called as soon as they became available, and the economy is in the tank, etc. I can't believe all of the deluxe AP discounts were gone for such a slow weekend. And yes, I use a travel agent. What else? MEI and Mouse Fan Travel to help, but I also call myself from time to time.
Not bad to check, because you never know when availability changes all the time. So you never know when an annual pass discount will come out. It's not always just on that first day. Sometimes that availability changes. People cancel reservations. It goes back into different inventory pools. So
let me ask you this, Annette. When you were talking about discounts in general, I mean, do you find that it varies from offer to offer in terms of how many rooms are actually discounted? Are all offers generally, a small portion? I mean, what's the norm? Is it really like small percentages, medium? What you typically expect from an annual pass discount code?
Well, it's not always typical. That's the problem.
Right.
It depends. If they have heavily booked weekends, especially before these before they announce discounts, those might not be blocked out, but there'll be very few rooms, because why are they going to offer them at a discount when they've already sold so many, such as Pop Warner and some of these other events that are going on? Why would they offer a discount? They're already discounting to large groups. So it definitely plays with what's already coming in and what they already have booked, because obviously Disney's not marketing to try and reduce everybody's rates that's already booked. They're trying to get other people to come in.
Right.
That makes sense.
And adding a little something different scope, I think you can talk to this end with when we're talking about, especially early December, it's becoming a more and more popular time of the year than it has been in years past.
Well, I think it's been popular for at least the last 12 or 15 years when Rad P started going down. And Rad P was the first group faction, if you will, who recognized that the first or second weekend in December was a good time to go down. The rates were low, the crowds were low, and you had all the holiday stuff. And then, of course, Mousefest came around, and now there's something called a reunion that's occurring this year.
That's still only like 1,000, 1,500 people tops, though. That's not as big as, if you look at
but
Pop
everything
Warner.
else still lend. But then you get Pop Warner. Then you have some kind of a racing group going down there too.
Well, and isn't it also DVC? Don't they have their thing going on that weekend too?
That's right.
Yeah. And they have the D23 event also this year. Our next question comes from Ryan, who writes, I have an annual pass, and my wife still has 3 days left on her park hopper. But the kids, Connor, age 7, and Lorelei, age 3, do not have tickets. So rather than just get 3 days, I want to spring for the expense up front and utilize their tickets in 2010 as well. I'm trying to decide if I should get a 10-day park hopper with no expiration or annual passes. The annual passes are cheaper by about $100, but obviously would expire next October. But with the 15-month renewal passes in 2010, that'd be a better bet. Let me, before we answer the question, he has something else to add. We don't have solid plans for 2010 yet, but we usually go at least twice a year for 2 to 3 days at a time. We'll probably go over spring break early April and either October or December next year. To make the annual pass worthwhile, we need to go in October and then do a longer trip in April, which would be fine. What do you guys do in my situation?
Plan the extra trips.
Yeah, exactly. Again, if you're staying, the thing is if the economy gets better in 2011, so if he buys the annual pass in 2010 and the economy gets better in 2011, Disney won't have the substantial discounts that they're offering now. And then you're back to a situation where if you're staying on site, the hotel room discounts make up for any of the incremental difference between the annual pass and the 10-day no expiration.
Okay, so you definitely, it sounds like, Len, then you're recommending that he go for it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's hard to look 15 or 16 months out, or even 20 months out on the U.S. economy, but I don't think we'll be in a similar situation where we are now. So I don't think Disney can't keep offering these discounts because that'll just be the rate then at that point.
Right. Okay. Scopey, you agree? Go for the annual pass?
I agree.
Okay, very good. Next question is from Kim from East Harlem, New York, who writes, just found your podcast about a week ago, and I'm almost done listening to all of them. I love your show and how your personalities mesh. Yeah, that's a lot of it.
Wow, that's impressive.
Wow.
I've been looking. Well, of course, this question could have came from like episode 200, so let's not.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
What's it dated?
Good luck, and I hope you guys make it to episode 150. Right.
I've been looking for a podcast about Disney, and I'm so glad I found you. I grew up in Tampa and have been to Walt Disney World about 15 times since the 1970s. We try to go every 2 years or so. I'm driving down from the New York City area, staying near Tampa for a few days, so we don't need a car. My 17-year-old son, his best friend, and I will be staying at All-Star Movies soon, for 5 nights. I can't pull him out of school for vacations. He needs
September 2008. Go ahead.
He needs every day of school he can get. I got our reservations through the horrible website, but called to get an ADR for Crystal Palace because the best friend has never been to Disney, and I wanted him to have a character meal. This has to be the least embarrassing for a 16-year-old boy.
Probably.
Here's my question. I'm considering buying my son and myself annual passes because I want to return for either Halloween or Christmas and possibly winter break or spring break. So that's 2 more times. I want to know if I go down for a long weekend without my son, if the annual pass is an ID and my brother could use it, his pass for 1 day or 2. I don't see the harm since I paid for it. I don't want to be doing anything dishonest though.
Yeah, it's tied to his finger biometrics. So they won't
unless they share the same finger.
Yeah,
which is odd.
Yeah. No, so in other words, you wouldn't be able to use your son's pass for your brother wouldn't be able to use your son's pass.
So are you guys saying that if I went down there and one day I wanted to check out the biometrics and I said to my traveling partner, hey, let me use your annual pass and you can use mine, you're saying that I would not be able to get into the parks?
Saying that it's not guaranteed and it does technically violate the contract that you agreed to.
Yeah, you yelled at me for parking at the Polynesian, but you're willing to do that?
I didn't say that. I'm guessing that during the morning, during the first hour that the park is open, I have a feeling that the biometrics are turned off.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind, I mean, I've had situations where they just, even with the ticket, they just buzz you through because they don't want to be bothered by it.
Right.
I mean, in all honesty, probably it could work, but like Len said, it's against the contract. And theoretically, if you're busted or whatever, I mean, they could totally void the whole ticket.
Oh yeah. So why even try it?
It's an embarrassing conversation to have.
Yeah.
I've definitely been caught and it wasn't caught, but I had cut my finger. And
really?
yeah, I cut my finger. I had a Band-Aid, and they were like, "You got to take the Band-Aid off. That's the only way we're gonna know." And I'm like, "I got a cut." And
so you're gonna put a nasty exposed cut on the biometric reader. Does no one think when they ask you to do these things?
That's a good point.
But I had to go over. I mean, it was an ordeal just to go, look, it's a cut. Here's my ID. I had to prove who I was with my. It really was. So you never know who's gonna be working the game.
Oh, that's just nasty.
Blood on the scanner. No, they didn't make me do it.
On the
No, they didn't.
scanner.
Thank you.
Took a little while, but I got it.
Thank you.
Oh man. Well, I think that is going to be it for this show. So we want to thank everyone who sent in their questions, and of course, well, if you send in your questions, you're more than welcome to, but they'll be answered in the usual time frame that it takes us to do it. Which, of course,
next year.
Next year. But that's it for us today. You want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments. Visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.